It says live, yeah. And you, yeah, I'm sitting there with the phone on my ear, right? I've started recording. Okay. Yes, sure. But no, I don't. I'll just stay here and I'll wait till in 2 more minutes and then I'll start to talk. Okay. All right. Wait a minute. I'm going to go off the phone now. Okay. Do you hear me? Oh, good. Uh-huh. Okay. So I'll put the phone back over there because I'm ready now, right? Okay. Sure. Okay. But I'll get off now. Don't you think I should get off the phone now? Okay. Okay, great. Thank you very much, Brooklyn. You're terrific. Bye. Bye. I think I'm supposed to be talking. So I should say, instead of writing that I'm glad to be here, I can say I'm glad to be here. And I'm on a tiny island off the coast of Connecticut. Do you hear me? Thank you, Brooklyn. So I think I should start talking because it's 8:02. I've been happily asked to talk tonight by Pulpwood Academy, Brooklyn, Bradley LaFleur, and Kathy Murphy. And I'm supposed to talk about, I guess, life and my new novel and maybe how I'm adjusting to COVID like everybody else is. And I'd love to hear how everybody else is. Um, and I just had an audiobook come out today of my book, which is my book. I'm going to show you just once so you have it. Chasing Cleopatra by Tina Sloan, which is me. Um, and the audiobook, I found it fascinating that when I wrote it, I had certain voices in my mind of the people, the characters as they spoke. And there were 5 women and 3 or 4 men who were very important to the book. So I hired a professional narrator, Therese Plummer, and a professional male narrator, Gab Vaughn, who just did a miraculous job. Although there were times when I'm thinking, I never thought this person would sound like this, but they were right. They sounded like they should sound. There's a terrorist that starts the book off, Mohammed Abdul Rahman, and he really was scary when Gabe wrote it. Somebody said, "Are you going to write this, Tina? Are you going to be the one who speaks it?" And I said, "No way." And now I'm really glad I didn't, because I could never have been as dangerous as that. Oh, Brooklyn has her copy right there. I'm glad you have it. But now you can get it in your headsets. I just think that's wonderful that we can walk around and listen to it. Because I am finding during this COVID time, I'm doing a lot of walking. I walk about 4 or 5 miles every day in the morning before breakfast. And that tires me out so that I can work and play and read and do all the things I should be doing, work on my computer. Although, yes, you did, Stephanie. You got it from me, didn't you? When I gave everybody a book, you got the early edition. I mean, it's the same book, but thank you, Stephanie. Did you read it? Anyway, I love the idea of having those little earbuds in and walking around and listening to a book. Although I suppose you could get really excited about it and not be seeing the traffic the way you should, or not hear people honking at you or something. I've often seen people going along and not paying any attention. They're so involved. I hope I'm doing this right. Brooklyn, am I doing this right? Hi, Betty. Oh, this is fun. All these people. Betty, where are you living right now during COVID? And Stephanie, it's interesting to see where people are. As I said, I'm on a little island off the coast of Connecticut, which is 7 miles long. And today, my son, whom I love more than anything, and his 2 children and his wife all moved from D.C., where we had our place, to Aspen, Colorado. And they sent pictures as they were in the airport walking around, and I'm going, come back, come back. Although I think it'll be fun to go out to Aspen and go to the Aspen Institute in the summers. I just don't think I'm going to get out there in the winter, although I used to love skiing, but I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be doing that anymore. So tell me where you all live or are living. Or maybe I'll just keep talking. I can tell you about, wait a minute. Oh, you're in Decatur, Alabama. Texas. Oh, right. Doing all kinds of projects in the yard and inside Jefferson, Texas. Of course, I know where you are, Brooklyn. We've all been to Jefferson, Texas and love it. I think staying home. Did you stay home? Are you still staying home, Betty? Doing all kinds of projects inside? I go out, I have a mask with me, but I don't put it on when I'm walking outside because I don't see anybody on all these little dirt roads. So I can just walk for an hour and a half and never see a soul, which is kind of nice. Darcy Smith, this is who I was telling you about. What were you telling me about her, Brooklyn? I don't remember. East Texas, close to Kathy. Come see us. Well, I mean, I loved being in East Texas this year when we went out for Pulpwood Academies. I just thought that was so much fun to be there. And that was the second time. I was there 10 years ago when my first book came out. And I just missed not going back there because I thought the outrageousness of it is so wonderful. It's so almost crazy. You know, I mean, the first year I went, I remember we all got dressed up. I was a prom queen, as something you wanted to be, I guess. And I guess I wanted to be a prom queen. So I dressed up as one. I was on a soap opera for about 35 years. And when it went off the air, I was on it for 26. It was on for 72, the guiding light. And when it went off, all the costumes we'd worn were for sale. So I bought some things like this prom dress that my daughter on the soap, my pretend daughter, had worn to her senior prom. But I thought, that's going to come in handy somewhere. Someday I'm going to need to have a prom dress. And it was all full of lace and bows, and it almost could have been a wedding dress. It was just beautiful. So I wore that to Kathy's. I should have looked for that picture and brought it up, but I think it's somewhere in the midst of all my other pictures. But I don't know if any of you remember some of those wonderful things. You want me to, do I stay in touch with Guiding Light? Oh, yeah. Well, my soap opera daughter, Beth Chamberlain, and I are very close. I'm the godmother of her son, even though when she asked me, I said, by the time he's 20, I'm going to be 80 or something like that. I mean, she could have gotten someone younger, but she said, no, I want you. So I very happily said, all right. And every Christmas, Grant Alexander, who played Philip on Guiding Light, has a Christmas party for sort of the Spalding Coopers. And that's who he has. Because you have, when you're doing a soap opera, you work with the group that you're acting with. And you don't see the other people. You come into rehearsal in the morning and you go with your group to get your makeup done, to get your hair done, to rehearse, because you're going to work with them. And you sometimes don't ever see some of the other actors. I mean, you pass them in the hall, but if you're not working with a certain other group, you don't see them. Reva, who was the big star of the show, Reva Shane, had a totally different group than Lillian did at the hospital. Ed Bauer, I was involved with the Bauers, unfortunately a little too much involved with Ed Bauer, on the show, not in real life. And so much so that something really awful happened to his wife when she found out that we had slept together once, just once. Yeah, Betty's saying that the costumes were great when they did a party. And they really were. I mean, they spent so much money and time. In the 80s and 90s, the soaps were just huge. 70s, 80s, 90s, they were just massively huge. People all over the world, especially Italy, we were the #1 show in Italy, would fly us over to talk to them and to meet with them, even though we couldn't speak, or I couldn't speak a word of Italian. But we'd go to Venice and they'd pay for us to come over first class. And then they'd put us up in these fabulous hotels like the Cipriani. And I mean, they just spoiled us. It was absolutely wonderful. In about, well, I guess at the end of the 90s, when I can tell you when soap operas went off, was when, live TV came in, when O.J. Simpson was driving his white car. Everybody was watching that, and they weren't watching daytime TV. We were all preempted for his trial and everything. And I remember sitting in the hair room, and I said to everybody, this is it for us. And they said, what are you talking about? And I said, we cost a lot of money to put us on the air every day. This costs them nothing, and everybody's watching it. And that was true, because then they started doing these talk shows, which cost them very, very little. People are happy to come on and talk about their lives. And the people who had acted for so long, the shows all went off the air. In 2010, Guiding Light went off, and then All My Children and One Life to Live. All the New York shows went off because we cost more money, since real estate was so expensive in New York. So that was the end of the show in, I think it was April. No, it went off in August 2010. They told us on April Fool's Day that the show was going to be gone. And I'd expected to grow old on that show, just being, I'd been the mother of the star. I'd been the star, the mother of the star, the grandmother of the star, and I was about to become a great-grandmother when the show went off the air. I should be grateful for that, I guess. But when it went off, I wrote a book called Changing Shoes, where, because I'd been an actress, I could say this, you go from sexy high heels to black flats as we age. And in it, I spent a lot of time talking about how you take care of your parents, because when you get to a certain age, your parents are getting sick and you have to watch out for them. And you also have young children or teenage children or even children getting married. So you're torn sort of in half by all of these things you have to deal with. And It was pretty an interesting time, so I thought I should write about it and warn people who are coming after me about how they could do these things, how they could look good as they got older, because the soap taught us all these tricks like um, you have to curl your eyelashes so that your eyelashes look great. Um, and so, I added things, all the soap tricks, like how to curl your eyelashes. Hi, Kelly. Oh, Kelly, it's so nice to see you too. This is so much fun. We met at Pulpit Queens. Oh, I remember you very well. I endorsed your debut novel. I'm tickled to learn you have another book out. Changing Shoes is still on my bookshelf. I'm just talking about Changing Shoes and how important I thought that was at that stage in life. Probably for women about 40, 50, 60. It's really important. And even younger people wrote and said, now I understand my mother, who was in her 50s or something, and why she gets grumpy and why she um, isn't sort of as much fun as she was, because she's taking care of me and her parents. And that became a really, really traumatic thing. I remember the reason I wrote it, I was at the eye doctor one day, and these two women walked in, and they had their mother with them. And I looked at them when the mother went in to get her eyes done. She was quite elderly. I said, boy, I hope you have a living will and a power of attorney for your mother. And they said, what are you talking about? So I explained how I'd learned that you need living wills, that you need power of attorneys, not only for yourself, but for your parents. And, it dawned on them, and they said, well, I don't know how to do this. So I put a chapter in the book called, I forget what that chapter was called, but it was all about the practical things about getting older, the practical things about taking care of your parents, and so on. And they really appreciated it, and I think that's why I think it's on people's bookshelves. But Kelly, my new book is a novel, Chasing Cleopatra. You've got to get it. It's really, really fun. Um, it's sort of sexy, romantic, a lot of betrayals, a lot of, my husband walked out on that word, a lot of betrayals, a lot of, there's a terrorist too in it. And the reason I got the terrorist is I had this dream about this love triangle, and I wrote it out. And then I brought it to Nan Talese, who, as you authors know, is quite a, she has Ian McEwan, she had Pat Conroy, she has Margaret Atwood, but she's now in her mid 80s. So she's retiring, but I went over with this idea I had that I'd written out, this love triangle, and she read it and said, I love it, but you need danger in your book. Well, my son at that time was in Iraq when I was writing this. He graduated from Harvard, and because of 9/11, where we all lost friends living in New York City, he went to Iraq doing intelligence. So he was fighting Al Qaeda. So I decided for my book, I would find an Al Qaeda terrorist, which I then wrote to all of his black op deep undercover friends and said, where do you suggest I have this? Because the book takes place in Honolulu. So I wanted it to be nearby, but not in Honolulu, because there aren't any cells in Honolulu, or very small cells of terrorists. And so I got all this information from them. I'd send a scene to them, and they'd go, mm-mm. My son has some very good friends who were Navy SEALs, and I sent them this. Am I talking too much? I sent them this. Let me just see. Oh, you just ordered my book. That's so cute, Kelly. I have yours. Um, so I was telling you that I had a friend who was the former head of the CIA, and I'd call him and ask him if I'd done something right. And he'd say, no, this is what you need to, this is where you need to look this up. And he'd give me a place to go look up certain things I needed to do. I don't want to tell you about them because the 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 excitement of this is you don't know who the terrorist is until about 3/4 of the way through. And nobody, not one person yet, has known. My friends, anybody who's read the book say, I had no idea. So I'm very proud. I left hints so that when they went back, they could see that there were hints. But I covered it pretty well because I was talking to these deep undercover people, and they were giving me ways to do that, and I used them. Oh, keep going, she says. You were doing a great job. That's So cute. Um, but I'm now writing a sequel to this book. And this has been a really interesting creative process. Well, anyway, Nan told me what to do. And so I went and added the terrorists, and she said, yeah, you've got it now. Go for it. So I did. And of course, it came out in the pandemic, as did everybody's, right? Everybody who's been writing books. Not a good time to come out because I had lots of TV appearances and I was going around the country to do bookstores and book signings, and wham, you get nothing. Everything was canceled, of course. I mean, you do things like this, which is wonderful. But, you know, it sort of stopped you dead in your tracks and you didn't know quite what the next thing was to do. So I started writing a sequel. And I'll just tell you this because it's a wonderful way of shows my creative process. There was a character in my first book, which whom you meet right away, so I'm not giving anything up. And his name was Jake, and he's really handsome, but he's a real rogue. And Cleopatra, who's 44, meets him. He's 28. And they have a car accident. They literally crash into each other, and they get involved. And he says to her, as she's leaving, this is kind of awkward, but my girlfriend's coming out tonight. And Cleo's just dumbfounded because she's really been swept away by the sex they've had. She's never, ever been able to have sex for reasons which come out in the book, or never had really good sex till this young rogue. And so she doesn't want to give him up. He's in Honolulu, where she lives, on a vacation. And with his whole family and his girlfriend who's about to arrive. So I think, well, he's been such a rogue, even though I loved him as a character. I mean, he was so cute. I decided in the new sequel, in the beginning of it, I was going to kill him. So I bring him, this is my process, I bring him to San Moritz in Switzerland, because the last time we'd seen him, he'd been in Honolulu, and it was only over Christmas, and he'd fallen madly in love with Cleo, and she'd fallen in lust with him. And they haven't seen each other in 6 years. He hasn't been able to find her for reasons. When you see the book, you'll know why. I mean, when you read Cleopatra, you'll know why. And he goes up in the gondola with another man who's all dressed in white, and it starts to snow as they're going up in the gondola, up the mountain in order to ski down it. And as they go up, the snow starts falling more and more and more until it's a total whiteout. So I go, oh, well, this is fabulous. I've done it. I can kill him in the whiteout. He'll ski off a cliff, or he'll ski into a tree or something. And instead, he says, I don't know how, it just comes out of me. He says to the man in white, the man in white has said to him on the way up, I don't remember many things anymore, but my body sure remembers to ski, and I can ski like a bandit. I can ski blind this mountain. So when they get to the top, he thinks, oh, he can ski blind, and we're blind. So he says, can I get in your tracks? And the man sort of looks at him and shrugs and takes off and whistles. And so Jake, the little rogue, is in his tracks, but he can hear the whistling, so he feels very safe that he can follow this man who knows his way so well down the mountain. But all of a sudden, the whistling stops. And I think, now I can kill him, because he's alone. And so he goes to reach for his phone, and he realizes it's been stolen by the guy in the white, who, in the book, I now decide, oh, okay, maybe I'll make him a Russian oligarch who's, plotting against, well, I don't know who he's plotting against, but he's a skier, and he's going to open a ski resort. I'm making this all up as I'm going along, in Sochi, where the Olympics were. So, and he comes to Switzerland because all the royals are there, and he likes the royals, this man in white who was leading Jake down the mountain. So Jake's alone now, no phone. Well, he has an extra one, but no phone. He's alone on this mountain, and I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to get rid of him? At which point, he starts quoting Pablo Neruda. Now, I don't know if you know him, but he's a famous poet. Chilean, I think he's from Chile, or Peru, somewhere over there, somewhere down there. And he starts quoting him. And there's a beautiful, beautiful quote about being followed in the snow where you can't see where you're going, that he had written. And all of a sudden, Jake says, I only know one poem, and that poem is by Pablo Neruda. And he I think I learned that poem for this moment in time because he thinks his death is probably pretty near. And I couldn't kill him then because he was quoting this beautiful poem. And I realized in the last 6 years since I'd left him in Honolulu as a bad roguey boy, sleeping with other women, um, he's grown up. I mean, he's quoting poetry. And this is how I work. I mean, I was so excited I was going to get rid of Jake, and I couldn't get rid of him. He's now very much there. And it's just such fun to write these characters and have them throw things out to me. Does anybody else have that kind of feeling? Stephanie, Kelly, do you do that? Kelly says she loves my earrings. Thank you. They're really cute, aren't they? I should go get you my earrings. I have about 100 pair of earrings. That's the thing I spend money on is earrings. I don't care what my clothes are, but my earrings, I just love beautiful earrings. Let me see. Maybe you can write me what you've done. You're very talented. Kelly or Stephanie, write me something about your process, and I'm going to go get my earrings so I can show them to you because I think you're going to just love them. It'll take me 1 minute to go to the bedroom. Okay, I'm back with all my earrings. So if you like those, look at these. Feathery ones. Aren't they great? Okay, then I'll show you. I have them in blue too. I love the earrings. I think I spend more money on earrings than anything. And here are just very simple ones, which I wear when I'm not really too dressed up. And these black ones I wear tons because they just fit with everything. They aren't too flamboyant. I think Kathy would, I should probably send these pink ones to Kathy. Kathy, do you want these pink ones? I just think they're so wonderfully fun. Then I have little tiny yellow ones that I wear in the daytime. And I have blue ones too. And purple. And pink. And then here's another good looking pair. And these, oh, I have some that have bathroom paper. A little roll of bathroom paper. And this was for, let me see where that is. You can see that. See the little roll of bathroom paper? These came out during when everybody was having trouble finding bathroom paper. So they were earrings. I thought it was so cute. Okay. The characters become real people. So someone has just written me that maybe you can read this. They become real people. You get attached and miss them when the story ends. That's right. Pantsters versus plotters. What does that mean? If I plotted, I'd be bored with the story and couldn't finish it. When we sit down to write, it's like discovering. Oh, I love this. It's like discovering. Oh, it's like discovering the story. And Stephanie says, I write true hair-raising stories of what the Americans get in on my European. Right, I've seen yours. It just flows out when writing. I change the names to protect the guilty. You call these pulpwood queen earrings? Love them. Pink is you, girl. I love them, the pink ones. And they're not heavy. They weigh absolutely nothing. I mean, you don't even know you have them on. Keep those toilet paper earrings. They'll be keepsakes. Yes, I'm amazed that Kathy didn't say she wanted these, the pink ones. Anyway, I have a whole, well, here's the rest. I don't know if you can see this. This is my whole other the more of them. I mean, if I find a good pair of earrings, I just go online and get them in every color. Orange. And you know what? It doesn't matter what you have on as long as you have these earrings on. Every morning during this whole, oh, Kathy says, I'll take those pink earrings. Tell us where you got them. This reminds me of the cocktail party you gave us in New York City. You let us go through your closets and under your bed. That's true. I love that. I think in those days I was into shoes because I was writing the Changing Shoes book. But now I just think earrings lift your face up. See, those are the tips that being on a soap opera you learn that to distract from other things. If you have big earrings, that's what people see, right? And lipstick, yeah. Well, I don't know about lipstick with me, but earrings for sure. And I will keep these. A friend of mine gave me 2 pairs, and I think I gave the other pair away, which was too bad. All right, so what we're saying is us Southern ladies like everything big, including earrings and hairdos. Yes, I know that. That's really true. In the last book, I remember going to Charleston and going all over the South, and I think there's a story in my book that was very Southern, in my Changing Shoes book. Oh no, it was I wrote a play called Changing Shoes, and I did it in Texas, and those Texas ladies, I mean, they loved this. I did it, and somebody from 60 Minutes was the guest speaker, and everyone loved her. But then I got up and told some stories, and people just came up to me and said, "Oh my God, you're so like us." Here's one story that all you Texans will like. I decided to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, 19,700 feet. I don't know why I decided to do that, but it just seemed like something I needed to do at one point in my life. So I went with a friend of mine, or I was going to go with a friend of mine, and she said, "Oh, Tina, it's just a walk. You're not going to have to worry at all." And I believed her. So I sort of got ready for it a little bit. And I went out and I bought a bright pink parka and pink boots, pink hiking boots. And we had to fill our packs. And we were only supposed to have 70 pounds worth of stuff in our packs. And of course, I paid absolutely no attention to that rule. I mean, I had all these things I needed. I needed my makeup, for instance. And so the day comes when we're all at the bottom of the mountain with our packs before we're going to go up. And I, of course, expect a Sherpa is going to carry my pack. But I went with Outward Bound, whom I'd never met before. But it's a group of very hardy, sturdy people. They were all in brown parkas, and I was in my bright pink parka. And they were sort of looking at me askance. They were eating trail mix. I was eating M&Ms. And I had my makeup on because I thought the mountain was so beautiful. I should be equally beautiful. So the man comes into the middle of the circle and he says, this is in both my books a little bit. He says some words to us, meaning welcome. And he said, now, in the Outward Bound tradition, we will carry our own packs. Well, I thought he was joking. I started to laugh, and then I saw that he wasn't joking, and I started to cry in front of all these people that I don't know who are already fed up with me. And they had to, I said, it was supposed to be 70 pounds. Mine was probably seriously 150. So they went through in front of everybody my big backpack, which was also pink. And in it I had, and this is what the Texas ladies like, I had electric rollers. Now, where was I going to plug in my electric rollers on a mountain at 15,000, 16,000 feet? I mean, there are no outlets on the mountain. It was such a wonderful Texas thing. They just howled and applauded and came up to me and said, I would have packed mine too. I would have had my electric rollers there and all my makeup. I had all my makeup. I had shampoos. Where are you going to get the water to shampoo? You're not. You don't have anything on this mountain. You had yourself, your sleeping bag, your tent. We had to cook our own meals. We had to dig our own latrines. It was not what I expected. I lost 20 pounds. That was the good thing. I mean, I was so hungry every day from this thing. And also, let me add, I made it to the top of the mountain, and some of those other people did not. So that showed them. Okay. Oh, Brooklyn says she's going to hike in the Grand Canyon. Oh, Well, don't take anything except lots of water when you're in the Grand Canyon hiking. Want me to tell you about the Grand Canyon? I can tell you a very nice story. Um, you know what? You don't have any choice in this, do you? I just get to say what I want. My hike, how long was it? Um, my hike up Kilimanjaro was, I think, 5 days up, 4 days down, about 10 days, because you have to acclimate to every place. In the Grand Canyon, you don't have to. You just hike down it, you're fine. You can get on a donkey if you want. They have donkeys that you can go down to the Grand Canyon in. Pink park and backpack. At least they can spot you in a whiteout. That's very funny. Yeah, that's true. They could have. Um, I do remember one night going out. You had to go out of your tent to go to, or you're back, you freezing cold when you're up around 17, 16,000 feet. I mean, planes fly up there, you know? And I had to go to the bathroom. I was going to say the ladies' room. So I went out and I then looked up at the stars and I had no idea how to get back to where we were. I mean, I hadn't gone that far, but I didn't know what direction to go in because I have no sense of direction. So I was terrified. And finally someone else came out to use it and I followed them back. But it was really rough going. But I'll tell you the Grand Canyon thing. My husband's grandfather, Stephen Mather, was founded the National Park Service, and in every plaque in all over the world, I mean all over the United States and Alaska. Well, Alaska's the United States, Tina. There are plaques to him, and I'm going to paraphrase this incorrectly, but it says they have a picture of his face, very handsome, and it says Stephen Ting Mather. The good that he has done will never be outlived, which to me is the highest compliment you could ever have. But because of my husband's grandfather, Stephen Mather, we've gone to most every park, and the Grand Canyon is so, so, so beautiful. But then so is Bryce, so is Zion, so is Glacier, so is Yosemite. And did you know recently that a bipartisan, Democrats and Republicans signed a bill, gave a bill to President Trump, which he signed, which is the largest conservation bill, I think, that's been passed. It's a bipartisan bill. So when they work together, they really got something done. They're going to plant 1 billion trees, which is tons of jobs for people. They are giving, the national parks, the infrastructure is failing, and they're going to fix that. They gave many, 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 I don't know if it's billions or millions for that. And it's just a wonderful thing that has happened in a bipartisan, Democrats and Republicans together. And Trump signed it, and it was a huge, huge thing. We watched it on TV, it was streamed, I think, to see him do that. That was really exciting. All right, so that's what I'm telling you. And I'm also telling you, Brooklyn, when you go down that Grand Canyon, it's water, 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 water. That's really what you need. Nothing more than lots of water. Okay, now what should we talk about? Water. I can tell you that I'm doing, to lose weight, I'm doing this thing that a lot of people do now called intermittent fasting. A friend of mine who was really, really, thank you, Stephanie, really, really heavy, all of a sudden had lost 40 pounds. And I said, how'd you do that? And she said, all you have to do is only eat 500 calories 2 days a week, and the other 5 days you can eat everything you want. So I watched her, and we were in Southampton with her. When we came from Florida, we had to quarantine because New York wouldn't let us in. So we went to their house in Southampton, and I watched how she ate. And she ate everything she wanted except 2 days a week, when she only had 500 calories for a woman, 600 for a man. So she's going to strap a case of water to her back. I don't think so. So I decided I would try this, and it's just been amazing. I've been doing it for about, I think, 3 weeks, and I've lost 10 pounds, which I have not been able to lose weight in ages. I gained about 30 over the last 5 or 6 years, probably 5 pounds a year for about maybe 7 years, 6 years. But this intermittent fasting, there's a book on it, and I've been reading the book every night to make sure I'm doing it right. I will say 500 calories is very little. Today's a fast day for me. So it's good I'm doing this because it's keeping me from thinking about food. Of course, I'm talking about it. But the other days, you can eat what you want. So last night I had big dessert, and the night before I had pie and ice cream, and I'm still losing weight. I mean, it just makes me so happy. But they also say in this book, and I thought this was a good tip for everybody, that if you exercise before you eat your breakfast, you'll lose weight. I don't know why, but for some reason the fasting from the night before and before you exercise helps you to lose weight. And not only are you losing weight in this, but your blood is all getting all better, whatever that means. Your cholesterol is coming down, your blood pressure's coming down, all the LDLs and all those cholesterol things are better. So it's really interesting. Brooklyn's doing intermittent fasting. Isn't it fun? I mean, I really think it's amazing. 5 days of eating whatever you want and 2 days of not eating. I mean, eating very little. Like today, I had a little piece of swordfish. I think maybe I'll put intermittent fasting in the new book I'm writing. I'll make somebody be an intermittent faster. But I don't know who. But it's just such an intriguing thing. She doesn't eat until 1 at the earliest, and she watches her carbs. Yeah, that's the other thing you can do. Every day you don't eat till 1 o'clock, and then you have dinner. That's another way of fasting. I like the one where I could have what I want. But I guess you can have what you want too. It's just you can't eat till 1 o'clock. Huh. It's just an astonishing thing, primarily because it's so good for your brain. They say it helps Alzheimer's. It helps all the eczemas and things like that. But I like most of all that it helps your brain. I mean, as you get older and you forget names, and you go, oh, what's your name? You need to have this. Post the name of the book. The intermittent fasting book. Is that what you mean, Kelly? I am exercising every day. Since I love the way your mind thinks. Since COVID started, I decided I had to get out every morning and walk. And I would walk, I have my Fitbit, I'd walk 10,000 steps. And I had a friend who was my next door neighbor and, hadn't been away. And we'd walk 6 feet apart from each other in the beginning. And we'd walk every morning 10,000 steps. And I've done it every day except today. I didn't do it today. I've done it every day since we started COVID, March 15th. March to April to May to June to July to August, 5 months. And sometimes I only do 3 or 4 miles. But pretty much having this Fitbit on you just keep looking at it. Today, as I said, I didn't do it. I've only done 2,206 steps. Normally I would have 10,000. And when you get to 10,000, your Fitbit gives all these flashes and rockets and colors, and it's so much fun. You feel so proud of yourself that you got there. Kelly wants the name of the book. Okay, I wonder if I have it here. I know it's in my Kindle, but I don't know where my Kindle is. I'll have to look. You want me to go look for my Kindle? Steve, do you know where my Kindle is? Do you see it over there? No. Okay. My husband's watching golf while I'm doing this. I'm sure he's really enjoying me. I exercise every day except Saturday and Sunday. I just do it every single day because if I don't do it, I feel I sleep so much better when I do it. I think that's one of the best parts. Although during COVID, here's another thing I was doing, was I'd walk in the morning. I wasn't doing intermittent fasting until a month ago. So I was eating and working on all the things we all work on, cooking and cleaning. I have no idea what I was going to say to you. No idea. Anyway, I kept walking. I know. I'd take a nap every afternoon from 3 to 4, and my husband would too. We'd both look at each other at 3 o'clock when we were both tired, and we'd go take a nap. But we stayed up till 11:30 every night watching all these Netflix, all these wonderful, wonderful things, which reminds me, I think Chasing Cleopatra might just become one of them. I'm hearing that. Who knows? You never trust any of that until it happens. But I am talking to someone tomorrow morning about it, so who knows? Or tomorrow afternoon. Intermittent Fasting is the name of the book, but the man who wrote it, he's British. And he talks about different kinds of fasting and different ways of doing it, Why do I sound like you, Brooklyn? um, okay, good. Kelly. Kelly, do you want to send me your email so that I can send it to you? You can put it on here right now. Does it? Maybe it won't go to anywhere. Anyway, so I don't know if you have any questions. I've certainly talked a lot, more than I think I've talked in quite a while. I'm going to walk off and get that book while I'm thinking of it. It's one, I see where it is. So just a minute. Okay, I have it on my Kindle. This is the only thing I have on my Kindle because we don't use Kindles, we buy books. It's called The Fast Diet, F-A-S-T, Diet, by Dr. Michael, it's not big enough. Dr. Michael Mosley, Mosley, and Mimi Spencer. She gives the woman's point of view and he gives the man's point of view. Okay, I guess I'm supposed to go because Bradley's saying goodbye to me. Thank you, Kelly. But you just got it, didn't you? The name of it, Kelly? Didn't you just get the Dr. Michael, Mosley, and Mimi Spencer for the fast diet? It doesn't say intermittent fast. It's called the fast diet. It's a good thing you asked. Okay. Well, I've had a lovely time seeing you all and being with you all. And I think we're done. Unless somebody has an urgent thing they want to talk about. Yeah, you got it. Good. So I hope everybody goes on the fast diet. Next time we talk to each other, we'll all have lost 30 pounds. That's what I'd like to lose anyway. You can keep talking about, no, I know. But I think one of the things that was interesting was some of the wonderful shows we all watched during this. Did anybody find a great Netflix or a great series that they watched? I'd love to know. I'd love to get a new one. I've watched a lot of them, but I'd like a new one. Of course, I watched Downton Abbey, as we all did, again. And okay, I think we're going to go to sleep. Everyone say good night. Before you go, message me because I want to do an interview with you on my new Pulpit Queen. How do I message you? Brooklyn had to spend half an hour with me this morning showing me how to do all this. And I think I'm so techie. Oh, I go up to messages. Okay. So it was great talking to you all, and thank you for coming and playing with me for an hour tonight. Can you comment and tag her, and she can... Scandal. I've heard that's really good, Kelly. Oh, I've heard that's terrific. Oh, I'm writing it down. I also watched A Place to Call Home, which is Australian. It takes place in Melbourne, Australia after World War I, and it is so addictive. You don't want to leave ever. You just want to stay there and watch it. It's on Acorn, and I think it's on Amazon Prime too. I'm not sure about that. Oh, and somebody has India. What about India? Before you go, we'll talk to them, or maybe have a watch party. One you did in India. Oh, yes. I didn't do it in India. It just was in India. It took place. I mean, it was supposed to be in India, but we weren't in India. We were in New York. It was called The Guru. I did a lot of movies at one point. And Kathy came across one the other night that I was in that she was stunned to see. And I love it. I have a Law and Order SVU that's been running for, I think, 15 years, and where I play a madam in a very high class institution. And everyone calls me every now and then and says, Tina, you're a madam. So I've had fun parts in those. I had fun parts in movies, and I did a couple of Woody Allen's, and I did one where I was Ben Affleck's mother-in-law and Sidney Pollack's wife, and I did one with Al Pacino, which was the best because he was so nice. He was just so nice. And okay, I guess that's blah, 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 blah. I'll do that on Kathy's film thing that she's doing. We can talk about when she has me be on the film, which I guess I'm going to do pretty soon. I have to text her. Good night. I see it's 8:48 here. I have 2 more hours to stay awake, and I'm not eating, so it's a hard night. So I'm ending this, right? Is that what I'm supposed to do? Watch Rita on Netflix, set in Denmark. Ooh, wait, I've got to write that down too. Rita and Scandal. Okay. Thank you, Kathy. All right. Kathy, is it the before pulpwoodqueen at Gmail? Okay. It was great fun. Thank you, Stephanie. Good night. Check your messages. I will, if I can. Bye.